Hi, the internet. Welcome to the What Else Show. I'm your host, Robert. This is Bethany.
Hi, internet.
And what else are we talking about today, Bethany?
We are going to do a spoiler-free movie review of Downton Abbey.
That's right. Downton Abbey, the sequel movie to the long-running PBS series.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So this is a spoiler-free review. So if you haven't seen it yet, you're good.
No spoilers. All right. Lady Bethany?
Oh, I like that. I loved it. Robert was a really good sport to go see this movie with me and Mom. I loved it. If you're a fan of the show, I think you'll really enjoy it. If you don't know anything about the show, you'll probably be a little bit lost.
That's how I'm going into the movie.
Right.
I didn't watch the series. I know of the series, and I've seen bits and pieces of the series, but I don't know if I've ever seen a whole episode from beginning to end.
Right.
And for me, I thought the movie was a lot like the television show.
It is. It is.
Which I was just not interested in. Not that it's bad. It's just not interesting.
So, So like I said, if you're a fan of the show, I think you'll really enjoy the movie because it has a lot of the same elements that kind of comprise the TV show. So it felt like kind of a much longer episode of Downton Abbey, just the way that it was shot, the way that they present Highclere Castle, like the way
and is it shot the same
sweeping shots, and
is it shot the same? I mean, does it look the same? Is the lighting the same? Is the
I think it's better. I think there was a lot more. It was a lot clearer. It was a lot more it felt wow, they really notched up the production value on this.
Sure.
And so a lot
I thought it looked good. I thought it just looked like a normal movie.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It was great. It looked fantastic. Of course, it has that historical feel with the costumes. It was very immersive historically.
Sure.
I think because fans of the show obviously know that there's really no expense spared to immerse us in this world of Downton Abbey, and really it was really incredible to see it on a big screen. It was really entertaining, and all of our favorites returned, and I really have to say I loved Maggie Smith because there is just nobody else.
Professor McGonagall,
there is nobody else who could bring so much life to the character of the Dowager Countess. She is incredible. I loved her. I thought she was beautiful and amazing. I loved it from beginning to end. It was, and it had kind of those same little snippets of humor that are kind of peppered throughout the show. They did the same thing in the movie. Because, overall, it is kind of the tone is overall serious, but they do kind of pepper in a little bit of humor, but it didn't detract from the stories at all.
I'm going to review it as somebody who is just going into it
Yes.
with a very limited knowledge of Downton Abbey.
A little more subjective, because I'm kind of emotionally invested in all of these characters.
This movie is not for people that have not seen the series.
Right. That's true.
It's not a prequel. It's not a midquel. It's not a retelling of the story. It's just a sequel to the series. So for me, as someone that's just going into it, I'm going to give it a 2 stars.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it doesn't explain anything to you. I mean, it doesn't have to, because it's not for me. So as someone who is not familiar with the series, it gives it a 2. I'm not going to give it a 1 because, it's done nicely, but the acting was fine, everything was fine, but I'm just not into the story.
Right.
And as a huge fan of Downton Abbey, what do you score it?
I'm going to give it a 5.
A 5 out of 5.
Yes, because I loved how the stories, with Downton Abbey, the show, there are always, these different vignettes going on, and the way that they kind of had interwoven everything around one particular event and Everything I felt like fit together very, very well. I thought the pacing was very good. I wasn't quite sure how long the movie was going into it, but I very quickly forgot about that because I was very interested in the story and the characters, and it really reminded me of how much charm these characters have, not having, seen them in such a long time. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Well, we know you're not subjective.
Nope, not at all.
And there are
Not at
definitely
all.
pacing problems with the movie. And you're just blinded by your love of the television series.
Well, see, I did not perceive the pacing problems.
5 stars.
So, yeah, 5 stars.
2 stars.
Yes, so
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
Blinded by their love. Not a fan at
loved it.
all.
I loved
Being
it.
very subjective.
Yeah.
Maybe even overscoring. I don't know. 2 stars.
So I would give it 5 stars with a recommendation that if you're a fan of the show, you will most
It's a
likely
must see.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
a good recommendation.
Yeah.
And as somebody that's not a fan, I don't recommend you see it.
Yeah. Which makes perfect sense, right? Because it was made for the people who...
For fans.
For the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right.
yeah.
That's it. That's the review.
That's the review.
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
The movie.
All right.
You can send us a tweet at What Else Show on Twitter. You can send us an email at thewhatelseshow@gmail.com. Look for us on Instagram, The What Else Show. Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.